Quote, I always loved having haters and doubters, but I appreciate it even more now. Tighten up. Adam, what other context can you provide on how this deal came together?
Well, Kevin, DeAndre Hopkins was looking for a few different elements. He was looking for a championship defense, which Tennessee certainly has. He was looking for a stable organization, which the Titans have with Mike Vrabel as head coach and a newly hired general manager in Rand Carthon. And he was looking for a quarterback who loves the game. He got Ryan Tannehill. But I think when Odell Beckham Jr. signed with Baltimore for $15 million this year, it changed the stakes on DeAndre Hopkins. And ultimately, Tennessee was willing to offer him significantly more than any other team out there. There was one team that DeAndre Hopkins was talking to earlier this offseason that offered him $4 million. There weren't a lot of teams that were willing to go to the neighborhood that he wanted. But ultimately, in the end, Tennessee had to find a way to replace A.J. Brown, who they traded away on draft night over a year ago. They drafted Treylon Burks in the first round, still didn't replace A.J. Brown's lost production, and so they essentially decided we're going to pay DeAndre Hopkins more than any other team is willing to do. And ultimately, that's, I think, why DeAndre Hopkins chose the Titans. They had elements in place, and they had the element of pay in place that lured him to Tennessee, which, by the way, also happens to be a no-tax state, and he can have even more of his money there by signing with the Titans.
The running game is going to be what it's going to be. They develop a running game, and they have an offensive line culture that will benefit them in a positive way this year. Defensively, they'll rush the passer. They'll produce turnovers. Mike's one of the best game day tacticians as far as making defensive calls on that side of the ball. Also, the key here, quite honestly, is the quarterback play. It's how good can Ryan Tannehill be this year? How does Will Levis develop for next year? Does Malik Willis make any kind of inroads towards showing that he can be someone who they could count on 2-3 years down the road? That's really the key question here. But many of the other components are in place for this football team, and right now they feel as though people are sleeping on them. People think as though that this should be a total tear down and rebuild, so why would you go out and sign a guy like DeAndre Hopkins? They don't look at it that way, and when you start looking at the individual pieces, you can see why they don't look at it that way. DeAndre is going to help this offense. They need someone like him. They are still haunted by the loss of A.J. Brown. And who wouldn't be, dude? I mean, just watch how he plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. Who wouldn't be haunted by that guy not being on your football team? So he's going to help them. The quarterback is really what's going to determine how this team trends over the next 3 to 4 years. They have to get that right.
Okay, Mina, if Ryan Tannehill is your starter day one as they open up the season, how does D-Hop fit into this offense?
You know, just purely football-wise, this makes a lot of sense, I think, on both sides. On the Titans side, well, I thought Treylon Burks did flash some last year, and I really like the Titans' young tight end, Chig Okonkwo. This was one of the worst receiving groups in the NFL. They needed DeAndre Hopkins. And then from his perspective, not only will there be opportunities as the number one wide receiver, but also because this Titans offense is so known reputationally and in execution for running the football, they face, if not the most, near the most stacked boxes in the NFL. I think it was third last year, first the year before. As a result, there are plenty of one-on-one opportunities for Hopkins and man coverage. There are voids in the middle of the field because of their use of play action. And while at this point in career, he's not going to, consistently separate downfield, he can still get open underneath. He's still incredible at the catch point. He can still get you yards after the catch. So he makes, to me, a lot of sense in the context of this offense in particular, and I suspect he'll be very productive.
Okay, by the way, this offense needs serious help because let's take a look at, if you include the playoffs, Hopkins has 72 career touchdown catches. The next highest total in that building doesn't belong to any of his new teammates. Check out his coach. Mike Vrabel has 12 career catches as a player. Are you kidding me? Every one of them went for a touchdown. And other than Hopkins, no other Titans wideout on the roster can match that career total. By the way, for everybody watching, Mike Vrabel was a linebacker. He wasn't even a wide receiver. He didn't even play offense.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.